whistle! Dog whistle! Where are you, dog?
It amazes me that Donald Trump supporters want to blame Democrats for starting the next civil war. The next civil war that we will lose. But it bothers me that they think that we're the ones who are going to start it. After everything that's happened over the last few years, it's the Republican Party that's trying to start it. Just for a few examples, I received this tweet. Well, it's not a tweet, it's from Truth Social, Donald Trump's social media answer to Twitter. He reposted this, and it was from a user called MAGA King Thanos. Oh God. Calling it Civil War. It was posted by another person, Lori Logan, who is another Donald Trump supporter. And it says, the most powerful country in the world is falling so fast that it makes you rethink what are the real reasons. Something is so big and powerful can't be destroyed so quickly unless the enemy comes from within. And of course, you saw Donald Trump retruthing this, and his user saying civil war. Yeah, we're the ones going to start a civil war. No. And of course, you remember the video I did with Madison Cawthorn, who lost his primary, who's going to be out after November, calling for Dark MAGA to rise. Dark Magna. But I digress. We have to take this seriously, so I'm going to be serious. The Republican Party is trying to start this next civil war. And it's all under the guise of some idea that Joe Biden is destroying the country. I have my problems with Joe Biden, but it's about policy, not because he's a Democrat and whatever. But the number one thing that I'm trying to talk about now, about the Republicans trying to start another civil war, is of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm getting sick and tired of talking about this woman. I really am. However, considering the facts, Marjorie Greene decided to comment about the anti-terrorism bill that was approved with all the Democrats voting for it and all but one Republican, Am Kinzinger, voting against it. The bill passed, but it only crystallizes what the Republican Party has become. And for Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is what she said in an interview. Take a look.
I mean, not on the jail, on the bill for this domestic terrorism new bill that came out for the Department of Justice. And Jerry Nadler was on the House floor, and he was talking about white supremacy, and he was bringing up the terrible shooting that happened in New York, but totally ignoring the shooting that happened in California that I think involved an Asian man that was the shooter, totally ignoring the guy that drove his car, black man that drove his car through a Christmas parade, killing people and was a racist himself, completely ignoring the black man that did the New York subway shooting. You know, these people are all guilty of these crimes, and it's not about race. It shouldn't be about race, but they're clearly racist as well. So white supremacy shouldn't be the main target. We should be more concerned about the illegal invasion at the border, the crime happening every single day on our streets, and especially in cities like Chicago. We should go after criminals that break the law and not pursue people based on their skin color and how they vote. But that's what the Democrats want to do.
Now, I would applaud Marjorie Taylor Greene when she said we shouldn't be pursuing people based on race. If it wasn't for the simple fact that people like you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Elise Stefanik, Fox News, Tucker Carlson, I'm talking about you, Paul Gosar, Madison Cawthorn, Lauren Boebert, and especially enablers like the rest of the entire Republican Party, Kevin McCarthy, I'm talking about you, would actually, I would believe what she said if it wasn't for the fact that you guys traffic in what happened in Buffalo. Not just Buffalo, but elsewhere. Now, she says that we're going after people, that the Democrats are going after people because they're white. No, they're going after them because they broke the law. Do you want me to go through the list? I'm glad you did. Okay, I'm going to go through the list. We already know about Buffalo. This guy traveled 200 miles to an African American community and killed 10 people. You want me to keep going down the list? Let's go down the list. Charlottesville, they marched and said Jews will not replace us. And a counter-protester was brave to stand up against these vermin, the vermin that support you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that support the Republican Party. You murdered that girl. Let's keep going down the list, shall we? Let's go down the list. I'll go even earlier. The church in Charleston, South Carolina. Dylan Ruth killed nearly a dozen people in a Bible study because they were black and because he wanted to start a race war because of rhetoric that you Republicans either said or enabled or did nothing about. The Tree of Life Synagogue, 11 Jews were killed because of replacement theory that you Fox News, Tucker Carlson, I'm talking about you, pushed. I'm even going to go overseas right now. Christchurch, New Zealand. The mosque there. Quoting the same white supremacist dogma that you Republicans let happen, and you Republicans enable, and you Republicans transmit, led to that. All of it traced back to you. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene goes off against the wild ballotism. What about these crimes? And those crimes were terrible. And yes, they probably were racially motivated, and those crimes are going after them. But what about the crimes that you helped enable? You Republicans helped enable. What about them? You're not going to talk about them? Obviously, you're not going to talk about them. You voted against the bill. You didn't say anything. You haven't said anything whatsoever about what happened, about this man who murdered 10 people. In fact, I don't even remember you talking about what happened in Charleston, South Carolina, the church, the Bible study murders. In fact, I don't remember any of you saying anything about any mass shooting regardless of race. But right now, since your feet are at the fire, since the line has been drawn directly from the Buffalo shooter to you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, to you, Republican Party, to you, Tucker Carlson, to you, rest of Fox News, to you, ONN, to you, Newsmax, to all of you. Now you want to scream, what about this? What about that? You're not doing any service to yourself. You're doing a disservice to the victims of those shootings. And yes, I would so love this not to be about race. But when we look at the manifesto from this guy, it was all about race. It was all about race at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. It was all about race at the Church of Charleston. It was all about race in Buffalo. It was all about race in Christchurch. And all of it is drawing a clear line to the Republican Party. I'm sorry. No, actually, I'm not sorry for drawing that line because quite honestly, it needs to be said. Now, she says don't punish people based on skin color. We're not. We're going after them because they broke the law. They committed murder. And honestly, if it were up to me, I'd be coming after you for enabling these. You would be charged as an accessory to this. Basically, it's like, for me, it's analogous to giving a recovering alcoholic a bottle of whiskey or a can of beer. It's like putting a drunk in the wheel of a car, knowing full well there's a chance that you could wreck it. That is what you guys are doing right now with every single mass shooting with racial contents into it. The fact of the matter is, we're not the one trying to start a civil war in this country. You guys are doing a very good job at doing that yourself. See, we're trying to stop the war by punishing the people who commit the crimes and coming after the people who enable said crimes. You, on the other hand, are doing everything you can to excuse it, to cover it up, not because you might be implicated, because you're going to be implicated regardless, but because you don't want to offend your base. We already know your base is a bunch of hateful, racist people using the American flag and quoting Martin Luther King every time someone like me calls them out. No. And frankly, it's even worse than that. You think that by trying to cover up all this, that this will somehow help you become Donald Trump's next running mate if he chooses to run in 2024. I hope to God he doesn't. Fact is this, we're not the ones who are starting this war. You are, by your actions, more to the point by your inactions. 10 people died in Buffalo, and the blood is on your hands. Don't take my word for it. Take the shooter's word for it. It's up to you. And as for Marjorie Taylor Greene, this crap she said, we see right through you. And I hope to God your voters see right through you. Because quite honestly, you are a straight up racist. You've proven it over and over again, Greene. If you want to prove otherwise, denounce Donald Trump, denounce the Buffalo shooter. Don't even mention the other shootings because those are going to be handled. Support bills against fighting against terrorism. Here's the real problem with all this. The DOJ and Department of Homeland Security called white supremacy the #1 threat in this country, and they are proving it. I bet they said if Muslims were the biggest threat in national security in this country, you jump all over it. If black people were the #1 threat in this country, you jump all over that. And the frightening thing is, that's what you're trying to do. But a white supremacist traveling 200 miles to kill 10 people, that's not even on your radar screen. And you know it. And it's way too bad. It's too bad that people like me, a simple YouTuber, have to call out your racism when others in your own party won't. Except for one, maybe two might. Don't ever accuse Democrats of trying to start a civil war in the United States. Because you Republicans are doing a very good job at doing just that. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.